Kolkata Knight Riders are ready to defend their crown. Many key pointers have been discussed in this video. Like, was Ajinkya Rahane the right choice made for captaincy for the defending champions? Will Venkatesh Iyer's massive price tag of 23.75 crore affect his play? Varun Magician Chakravarti, will he turn out to be a threat for the opponents after his Champions Trophy heroics? Interestingly, no Sunil Narayan or Andre Russell have been discussed in the players to watch out for. Couple of big names are also missing in the predicted playing 11. If you want to know more about the discussion, watch the entire video till the end. The Champions Trophy 2025 is done and dusted. Another ICC trophy for the men in blue. Now, cricket doesn't stop, and we now shift to the Indian Premier League. Season number 18 is all set to begin. Kickstarting the squad previews with the defending champions, the Kolkata Knight Riders. I have Shine with me. Welcome to the show, both of you. Bright smile on both of your face because you know you are ready to defend the crown. So many changes have I witnessed in the squad, especially the leadership group, the management group, because most of them have now gone to the Indian side now. I've also Shan straight away. Let's move on to the discussion, Shan. And this is what Kolkata Knight Riders, the defending champions so far, have in their cabinet in terms of IPL trophies. 2012, 2014, and 2024 are the three times you have been victorious. Which one has made it more special for you?
Thank you so much, Pritam, for inviting me on this stage. And first of all, congratulations for Team India for winning this ICC championship. As you mentioned, cricket doesn't stop. And personally, for me, KKR, I think the first season would be the most memorable moment in 2012. Lifting that trophy for the first time was so unreal. I still remember that time when I watched that particular game against Chennai Super Kings at Chepauk. So definitely that was the sweetest memory. But last year, I think Kolkata Knight Riders was very clinical from day one, and they were the deserving champions.
Absolutely. They were indeed the deserving champions. Thoughts were going around, Orko, about Sunrisers Hyderabad. Maybe Pat Cummins might just silence stuffs out there, but it was Kolkata Knight Riders who were just too hot to handle on that day.
Well, as Shayan rightly said, a clinical performance. We were, of course, very dominant, and I think no team was even anywhere close to us from the start of the tournament. We had a little bit of moments where we went behind, that Punjab game. We went for 262 and all, but we came back and hardly conceded 160 runs in any of the remaining games. So it was an incredible comeback even within that tournament, and we ended up in the winning side. And as Shayan rightly said, the first trophy is obviously special because we started off as a franchise which really didn't have a great amount of success in the first 4 years, but then the first trophy came, and of course, if you look at the third trophy, which came after a long gap, it's certainly very special.
Absolutely. 10 years wait, you had to make it for your third trophy. But Orkut, you said about the Punjab Kings last year around they performed, but that was at the Eden Gardens. Eden Gardens has now become a belter of a surface, is what we now slowly and steadily try to say. With the squad you have got at the moment, will come as the show progresses. A little bit of thought on the Eden Gardens. Do you think you're expecting the same this time around as well?
Well, of course, I think that will be the case even this time around. And even if you look at our squad balance, I think previously we had Shreyas, we had Nitish, people who play spin very well. Now we don't have them. So, of course, apart from a Rahane or a Rinku, you can't think of too many players who play spin too comfortably. They like to, be associated with an attacking brand of cricket, try to play better in flat surfaces. So I think Eden wouldn't be any different. But it's just that our bowlers would be tested heavily. And given the fact that we did well previous season, I think if they continue the good work, our bowlers would come good even this time around. So I don't think the surface would change as of now.
Absolutely. For the defending champions, I think that the surface will not matter that much, but you have to see how you kickstart the proceedings. But talking about new leader, new management, but the head coach is still the same. And we'll come about when we talk about the management. Orko, here it is. Chandu Pandit has been an ex-cricketer, and then you have the experience of Ajinkya Rahane as well. He has been given the task of leading the Kolkata Knight Riders in IPL 2025. Talks were going around, rumors about maybe a possibility of Venkatesh Iyer. But if an overall thought on how the squad has been made by Chandu Pandit is what my first question is. What expectations are you there from the squad? What brand of cricket can the Kolkata Knight Riders play? And second of all, Ajinkya Rahane, do you think the right choice was made?
Well, I think that we'll continue with the brand of cricket we played. It is scenario specific. It's not that you will be over reliant on any one or two players. I think you would see new match heroes coming up in every possible match day. And I think that's what is required to, sustain a tournament as competitive and as long as the IPL. So I think Chandrakant Pandit, in the absence of Gambhir, would like to portray that. Of course, when he was left alone, we didn't get the best results which we would have wanted in 2023. But with Gambhir, he certainly himself, though he's a senior person, would have learned a little more cricket if you look at it in a coaching perspective in a modern way. So I think that they'll continue with what Gambhir has left, and perhaps because of the team composition in total, we would do pretty well.
Yeah. Absolutely, indeed. But no Gautam Gambhir now, Shayan, as I rightly mentioned before. He is now a ICC Champions Trophy champion as well, being the head coach of Team India. But as Orko mentioned about 2024, they had a Gambhir alongside Chandu Pandit. This time around, you have a champion bowler, a champion all-rounder, the name of Dwayne Bravo, who is into your think tank now, alongside Chandu Pandit. How massive of a boost that is for the Kolkata Knight Riders.
Dwayne Bravo has definitely got some IPL experience when he was playing for Chennai Super Kings, and he was a winner. So no matter what, I think we have got someone who has won the IPL, who know how to win the IPL. So I think
Correct.
we definitely would have, felt sad when Gautam Gambhir left for the India team. But I think getting Dwayne Bravo was a good match. I think it would be good for KKR also. They got someone who has got that IPL winning experience, and that can be shared to the teammates also.
Absolutely, that definitely will be shared to the teammates, and a lot of experienced players are visible in this Kolkata Knight Riders. Here is Kolkata Knight Riders squad, and what I've done is that I've got segregated them into my possible rankings. There is good, there's average, there's surprise package, and there is a very good sections as well. This is what I've gone with the Kolkata Knight Riders squad. Orko, when I talk about the squad of the Kolkata Knight Riders, I see there is a lot of changes that have been starting with Shreyas Iyer, as you mentioned. But when you talk about top rankings, it's very difficult for me not to name the Caribbean duo. But unfortunately, I have them, just because of their age, I have them in the good list. But in the top list, I've gone with Varun Chakravarti, Rinku Singh, Harshit Rana, Ramandeep Singh, and Ankrish Raghuvanshi are my 5 players in the top list. Are they going to be your pillars this time around for the Kolkata Knight Riders?
Well, definitely, and I think that if you have to win a game in the IPL, as you call the Indian Premier League, you need a strong Indian core. I mean, if you look at successful teams like the Mumbai Indians, they have a very strong Indian core, and we have finally accumulated a core like that. And I think there'll be a lot of onus on these Indian players. Ramandeep, of course, decreases the responsibility from Russell in terms of lower order hitting. Varun obviously complements the wicket taking with Narayan. Rinku, again, a class apart of a player who has developed in stature in the last 3 years, and I believe Ankrish, we fondly call him the star boy. Maybe he'll be what we missed out when we lost Surya Kumar Yadav or Shubman Gill. He certainly has the talent and prowess in him, and if he continues working, I think he'll be an asset to watch as well. So the Indian core is what I would concentrate on, and we perfectly have one this time around.
Well, I just want to differ about two things. One is that I think missing out Shreyas Iyer, I think, was a very bad decision for me. I think Shreyas definitely deserve in this IPL. In this KKR setup. And secondly, I think we should. We have already Russell and Narayan, who has been so wonderful over the years. We have relied upon them for so many years. I think there's cricket left in both of them. I think last year also there was a surprise element of Narayan's batting. I think because of Narayan, we haven't seen too much of Rinku Singh lately because of his massive batting. And so I think I just want to differ these 2 points.
So you think that Narayan and Russell should be in the top candidates rather than in the good one which I've gone with?
Absolutely, absolutely. Any day Russell can change the match. If you need 13 balls, 50 runs, I think no better batsman than Russell would be at
Absolutely.
any
So
surface.
you're saying Andrew Russell and Sunil Narine, the two Caribbean duo, should be in the top list alongside the 5
Absolutely.
players I've mentioned. Orko said something different. Cheyenne gives a fight back and says he differs with that and he has his views on that. But what about the surprise package, Orko? I've gone with my 4 players to watch out for. Ajinkya Rahane, no doubt a surprise package, not known for his T20 skills, but lately with the Chennai Super Kings, he has got that at number 3 or at the opening of the order. Umran Malik has been picked. He can be a hit or miss. We all know about that. Moeen Ali is experienced, but more importantly, it's Venkatesh Iyer which I've gone with. And I think you might wonder why is that reason behind. It has to be not just his cricketing skills, but also the price tag, and that's going to be having immense pressure on the youngster.
Definitely, and I think keeping that price tag in mind, that's maybe why they didn't give him the leadership. I mean, if you look at other teams,
Correct.
they chose a younger leader to groom someone like a Patidar. They didn't do the same with Venkatesh Iyer. They wanted to live in the present. They have become more result oriented. They don't want to wait for a captain to groom himself for 1 or 2 seasons. So that is why they made a proper leader like Rahane, who's immediately available and has an amount of cricket left him in. But again, if you look at the auction in total, you wouldn't expect a team to find their captain at the last round of the auction, and that's what I perhaps really didn't like. I would, if I could be very frank. So that's why I put Rahane as a surprise package in this. Umran, again, I felt that more than Umran, we needed a Shardul because he adds a little more experience, a
Yeah.
little more,
Yeah. Yeah.
better performances in the IPL, and also his domestic form has been tremendous. He's been batting and bowling with wonderful ease these days. So that's why I mentioned them, all three of them. And lastly, Moeen Ali, I thought that he's past his prime. Maybe we could have looked at someone like Phillips or even Bracewell for that matter. These are players who have been in form. Or if you look at a younger prospect like George Linde, I felt that these were the ones who could have been better acquisitions than Moeen Ali. But again, let's see. He brings experience, a bit of CSK flavor. So we never know, when his time comes, he may do well for us.
I just want to add one more thing. You mentioned that Anukul Roy being an average player, you mentioned it on that particular list. I would put Anukul Roy in the surprise package because what he
Wow.
has done last year, if you have remembered the match against RCB, particularly against
Yeah. The
Virat
Virat
Kohli,
Kohli. Absolutely.
yes. So I mean, we all know that Virat Kohli doesn't play too much good for the left arm spinner, so he struggles a bit. So I think Anukul Roy could be a surprise package in this IPL setup,
I
and
didn't like
also
the
he
way
can
you
bat.
said about this because yes, he can definitely bat. He provides a long handle, but I didn't like the way you said about surprise package. I think it was the matchups, if I remember or correctly, it was the matchups about against RCB and Punjab Kings where Anukul Roy was specifically played. Apart from that, he was not played. Do you think that Chandu Pandit would once again have these kind of matchups in mind? Gautam Gambhir had it last time around. We can give him the credit because he was the mentor, he was the leader of the ship. Do you think Chandu Pandit will keep these things in mind?
Well, I think that Anukul would be used sparsely even under Chandu Pandit. He might look at the conditions if he need an extra spinner, or maybe situations where batters struggle against left arm spin, like people associate Kohli with. So I think certain matchups and tactics would be the way Anukul would come into the game, or maybe in situations where we have a batting order collapse and we think we need a spinner in the second innings, then maybe Anukul might be introduced. But there's no way that he's going to play a lot of matches, maybe at the most as a substitute fielder, in my opinion.
Absolutely, but when I've gone with a couple of big names in the average list, Orko, Andrik Nokia, very injury prone player, and I don't think so. He's going to play the initial part of the season. I'm not sure about that, but Manish Pandey still has a lot of flair in him when it comes to in the fielding department.
Absolutely.
Do you think? Do you really think that he will still have that flair when it comes to his batting?
When he gets his chances, of course, he will be. Even in the previous IPL we saw versus Mumbai, he was introduced, when a collapse was triggered, and he played a wonderful knock. He has those very rare achievements, as people would call it. He has a wonderful strike rate against Bumrah. If you remember, he's one of those batters who strikes very hard, has, I think, a 170 kind of strike rate against Bumrah, which is rare among batters. So certainly, whenever his role comes in, he'll play. And of course, not just a batter, he's a phenomenal fielder and also a person who knows the setup well, has some captaincy experience as well. So overall, he will help a lot in the functioning of the dressing room in total as well.
100%. Just like
Absolutely.
Shayan mentioned at the beginning about 2012 being memorable, 2024 will also memorable clinical performance. We talk about 2014 is just Swami Manish Pandey that comes in the mind, Shayan.
Absolutely. What an innings, 91 runs. He single handedly won the match for us. Unlucky that he couldn't finish it off, but what an innings. I still remember that innings. So I think putting Manish Pandey in the average list, I think he could be a surprise package given what Orko
Okay.
has mentioned. That he played a stellar knock when the Kolkata Knight Riders team got collapsed, and he played a great innings under pressure against Mumbai Indians. So I think he
Correct.
could be surprised. So I think Manish Pandey could be an impact player sometimes. So I think he could be
Okay,
a
there comes
surprise package.
your first name recommendation about the impact players. He can be one of your impact players to watch out for. We talk about the impact players as the show progresses. What about the fixtures of the Kolkata Knight Riders? This is where things get very intense, and here comes the fixtures. So here comes the fixtures. As we all know, the traditional home away system, and when it comes to home, there's no other second home for the Kolkata Knight Riders. The men in purple will play 7 games at the iconic Eden Gardens, starting with the opening game against none other than Royal Challengers Bengaluru, and then they have the 7 away games, ending with the Royal Challengers Bengaluru. I have a try. If I ask you very frankly, looking into these 14 games, you have 7 home, 7 away. Can you confidently tell me how many games do you think Kolkata Knight Riders can get 2 points?
Absolutely. I think for the home matches, I think at least 5 wins in the home condition at Eden Gardens. And for away, a minimum of three, I mean, 2 to 3 games that would secure us in the playoffs. And I
So
think
you
what a
take
great
five
start.
games from that one, which means 10 points. And if you have three away games, make it 16. Nowadays,
16
16
points.
is like a third and fourth spot conundrum. I think 18 or 20 guarantees of top two. So you think 16 or maybe something here and there is what you're talking about. But starting with the home game, Orko, it's against the Royal Challengers Bangalore. Always a big game at home. Then you have the Chennai Super Kings coming pretty soon. That's the last game of the home games. In between, you have Sunrisers Hyderabad, where you always have a different rivalry with them, which is the home game. You're expecting a nail biter of a contest out of these.
Well, I think the game versus SRH would be very tough. I mean, previously also we saw how Klassen almost took the game away from us, unless Harshit Rana came up with that ball, Suyash taking that catch. Of course, even the game versus RCB was a close one. Phil Salt with that diving,
Absolutely.
run out which he did. But I still believe that if you look at team strengths, SRH of course have a blitz of a batting attack. I mean, their top seven or top eight is as good as none other. So in conditions like Eden, flat deck, I think that when the early season blues come in, we have a bunch of bowlers like Harshit Varun who might be a bit fatigued from the Champions Trophy. Before they get their groove, you set the ship going. I think the game against SRH would be a tough one.
SRH would be the toughest one, according to you, keeping aside the high voltage of Chennai Super Kings. But no mentions about RCB. I think nowadays KKR fans are taking it as a cakewalk, to be honest, at home against Royal Challengers Bangalore. But what about the SWOT analysis? This is where things we come into in-depth discussion about the Kolkata Knight Riders. SWOT analysis time for the Kolkata Knight Riders. When it comes to the SWOT or core, Kolkata Knight Riders indeed have built a very strong core. What's your thought about the strength about the Kolkata Knight Riders, where it is?
Well, I think the core, I think they had a wonderful retention list, I would say, even before the auction. I think the retentions that they had were on point. We were a bit lucky that Harshit wasn't capped, even Ramandeep wasn't capped. So getting them so cheaply. And even if you look at the auction in total, most Indian bowlers, even someone like Bhuvi or Shami, whom you would think that they are past their
Yeah.
prime, went nearly 10 crores. So if Harshit was in the mix, a young bowler who has performed himself, proven himself, got experience, and even bats a bit, I think he would also have costed not less than 10 crores. So to have gotten him for just four, to have gotten Ramandeep, a finisher of that quality who can field and bat a bit as well, of such quality in just 4 crores was an absolute steal. So I think the core is what helps us, moving forward in the upcoming 3 year cycle.
Absolutely, but I talk about something else too. When Shayan shared about Sunil Narayan being that man in the top of the order because of whom Rinku Singh did not get some batting. But when you talk about the
Absolutely.
middle order of Kolkata Knight Riders, there is an RRR section, Orko. Ramandeep, Russell, and Rinku. How deadly will they once again be being finishers?
Well, they'll be deadly. And if you look at the team in total, even if Russell, for some reason, doesn't get the performance he wants, or if he's rested for a bit of an injury or a niggle, you have Rovman Powell, who also has an R in him. So he's someone who's in tremendous form of late in international cricket as well. So I'm a bit sad that we don't have enough players to play Rovman Powell. Otherwise, just imagine a middle order with Rinku, Ramandeep, Rovman, and Russell together. So that's not going to happen because we don't have an Indian keeper. We need to play a foreign keeper like De Kock or Gurbaz. So Rovman doesn't make the list. So obviously, a number of R's in our team, and all of them are lethal as ever.
Absolutely, all
I
of
just
them are
want to
sitting at
conquer
three.
one more thing. Just wanted to
Absolutely.
conquer. I think we have seen, I mean, the KKR batting order. There are sometimes a situation where the middle order totally collapses. It based on the performance of the top order, who has done really well in the last couple of years. We haven't seen too much Rinku Singh off late. I think he hasn't performed well in the international circuit also. So I think that little, I mean, crisis over there in the middle order segment. We need someone who can, hold that innings up. So I don't see someone who can hold the innings. I
That,
think
that is
there would
where
be
I think that is where Ajinkya Rahane comes into the equation because Kolkata Knight Riders have left the likes of Shreyas Iyer and Nitish Rana, who were the
absolutely straight.
anchor players in the middle overs. Now I
Absolutely.
think Ajinkya Rahane, Venkatesh Iyer holds a lot of key into that batting department, especially in the top four. Before you come into the middle orders of the likes of the three R's we have mentioned, but Shayan, a strength always has a weakness in this side. Any weakness according to you which you have pointed out for the Kolkata Knight Riders?
Absolutely. I think the over dependency on Russell and Narayan, to be very frank, we
Yeah.
have seen for the last 10 years, we have depend most of the situation on Sunil Narayan and Russell's
Andre Russell.
performance. Whenever we had difficult moments, they have put their performances, and that's the reason I think last year also, if not Sunil Narayan, I don't think KKR would have been the championship side. He has done both well in the batting as well in the bowling side. Even though he hasn't taken too much wickets, I think that little saving those critical runs again with Varun. So I think that is a bit concern for me. to be very
Absolutely.
dependent
That is
on this sport.
always very concerning. But you said about Varun Chakravarti, but over dependence on the two West Indian duo, which Kolkata Knight Riders have been for the last decade, I must say. Their heart,
Absolutely.
their second home, Sunil Narayan and Andre Russell's second home has been the Eden Gardens, and they love playing for this franchise. I think they will definitely retire in franchisee cricket playing for the Kolkata Knight Riders. No other franchisee for them, to be honest. But what different opportunity do you think, Orko, is there in the Kolkata Knight Riders circuit now with a little bit of changes in the team section?
Well, I think obviously Rahane, the leader, I mean, he's, got a resurrection going on for him because he has been sidelined from the Indian team. He had a good season with CSK, but again, he went unsold and he wasn't that great in the previous year for CSK as well. But, in the last moment, as I previously stated, KKR want to be a bit result oriented. That's why they brought in someone like Rahane at the last moment instead of grooming a new young leader. So certainly there are a lot of opportunities for him to perform both as a batsman. Will he do the anchoring role, taking over from Shreyas Iyer, or will he go in that CSK attacking mode as a batsman? That only time will tell.
I would
But
really love to
his
see that kind of Rahane at number three.
Absolutely.
Definitely. I mean, if you remember that CSK versus KKR game in 2023,
At
he
Eden
just
Gardens.
blew KKR
Had
away.
even
Yeah,
that.
he just blew KKR away. So if you have a player like that who can do wonders like that, of course, as a captain, that would be wonderful. And he's a very shrewd tactician. I think he's a very underrated leader. He's not very much recognized or stated the way he should be stated in an international level. He won the Border Gavaskar Trophy for India as a captain. So definitely he's not new to leadership. And I think there's a lot of opportunity coming from Rahane, the leader, and also the batsman for KKR.
Absolutely. And recently, you said about Rahane, the leader, Rahane, the captain. Rahane, the batter. He doesn't bowl, but you cannot take away Rahane, the fielder. In the last couple of weeks, we have said about flying Phillips in the Champions Trophy. For India, if we had to pick two best fielders in the recent past over the years, I think Ravindra Jadeja and Ajinkya Rahane comes into the list.
Absolutely.
Definitely. I think a lot of fielders, even another fielder like Manish Pandey is in the team and even Anukul Roy. So we have a bunch of wonderful fielders, even Ramandeep Singh, Rinku. So I think KKR is blessed with a number of good fielders to, be the boundary riders, which we would, proudly possess. So certainly Rahane, the fielder also has a very big role. And given the current form he has from the Syed Mushtaq Ali, it's just an exciting prospect to watch as to how he does in the IPL.
100%. That is very, very exciting to see how Rahane turns out into the T20 format for the Kolkata Knight Riders. But threat is what something I need to know from you, Shayon, because last year it was Mitchell Stark who ended up being a leader, came out at the right moment when the Kolkata Knight Riders needed him, despite having an off start. But people turned out to say 21 CR, if I'm not mistaken, was the price tag, and said he's out of the window. But then he proved his worth during the
Absolutely.
knockouts and then knocking over Travis Head, Abhishek Sharma in the knockout games. Your threat for the IPL 2025 for the Kolkata Knight Riders?
Well, I will go for Rinku Singh and Varun Chakravarti once more. I think we have seen Varun Chakravarti of late. I think he has a stellar ICC Champions Trophy. If he had played those two matches, I think he would have been the leading wicket taker.
Leading wicket
That's for
taker,
sure. I think that mystery still continues. I think he will be a one to watch player in the IPL 2025. I think Rinku Singh should do well. The franchisee depends a lot on him. So I think Rinku Singh would be the X factor, a player to watch out for in this particular 2025.
Okay, so you're saying Rinku Singh and Varun Chakravarti especially would be a threat for the opponent. Rinku Singh, the finisher. You said about players to watch out for will come as the show progresses. Any other name recommended from your end, Orko?
Well, definitely Narain. I mean, you can't write Narain off. And if you look at the way he's operating in the current franchise cricket scenario, he just keeps his best saved for KKR. I mean, if he plays for TKR or ADKR or LAKR, he seems like a player who's pretty casual in his approach. But when he comes to KKR, he gets Carl Crowe, who is that spin bowling coach, and he works very hard with him, tries to brings the best out of his bowling. And also with the bat, we have seen what kind of season he had. So I wouldn't have that much expectations with the bat from Narain, but his bowling certainly is an absolute asset. 8 overs of gun spin bowling with Varun. So certainly these two people are the threat which we would watch out for.
Okay, these are the threats you have mentioned. Varun Chakravarti says Shayon. Sunil Narayan says Orko. I think there are two match winners. Varun Chakravarti doesn't need introduction for the opponent, especially if they have watched the Champions Trophy. What about the team strategies? And I have three strategies according to me. I'll start with Orko. Here is my first strategy. I really want to know the answer about that. So what I think is that KKR, I give you a situation out here when it comes to strategy and what I expect from you, Ajinkya Rahane and Chandu Pandit being your think tank. KKR are defending a total. 45 to 50 runs are required in the last 4 overs. Who are your bowlers who are going to bowl the remaining 4 overs to defend the total?
Well, I think if you just saw the recently concluded Champions Trophy final, when Varun was asked as to which phase of cricket or the innings he prefers to bowl, he said that he loves to bowl in the death. So I think Varun will be a bowler I would certainly keep at least an over in the death. And apart from that, maybe Spencer Johnson, because of his wonderful Yorkers, he could maybe give one over or maybe two. But I think the leader of the death overs would be Harshit Rana, because those cutters,
Absolutely.
that bounce that he generates, he's someone who's a handful. So certainly Harshit Rana, given the amount of experience he's already garnered in the last 2 years playing in the Eden Gardens, would perhaps be the one who would at least bowl maybe one or perhaps two overs. That way, it would reduce the reliance on Russell and maybe use Russell more as a middle overs contributor and, of course, as the batsman he is.
So you're saying one over of Varun Chakravarti, two from Harshit, and maybe one from Russell or Spencer Johnson is what your thought is? Do you think that is enough for you to defend a target of 45 to 50?
Well, definitely. I think Spencer has it in him, that star kind of element, brings in proper Yorkers and also is in form of late. And of course, the experience of Russell whenever needed can also act, if not Spencer. Varun, obviously the mystery spinner he is. He's someone who loves to operate at the death, as he really stated. And Harshit would be the leader of the pack in the death overs.
Okay, so Harshit Rana would be the leader of the pack in the death overs for sure for the Kolkata Knight Riders. Let's move on to the second strategy, and this is where I come to Shayan. I want to know from your end. So the Kolkata Knight Riders, from defending and bring them to high-scoring run chasers, chasing a high score and yet to use their impact substitutions. We know they have a long batting unit, but you obviously use an impact substitution. Who could it be? Is it Ankush Raghuvanshi going for a skill set? And Manish Pandey, as you rightly mentioned, is Manish Pandey a think tank? Moeen Ali, you said about Anukul Roy. Who could be your go-to man if it's a 200 total that you're chasing as it impacts up?
Well, I think Angrish Raghuvanshi would be my go-to man if we are chasing around 200 more scores for KKR. I think if you remember last year against Delhi Capitals, Angrish Raghuvanshi got 46 out of 22 balls. I think Angrish Raghuvanshi could be that X factor, could be that power
Absolutely.
hitter in the middle order. So I think if we are chasing around 200 scores or more, I think Angrish Raghuvanshi could be the go-to man.
Ankush Raghuvanshi could be a go-to man. I think this guy has a future, and I would rather
Absolutely.
agree with what you said. So Ankush Raghuvanshi in that top order could be that man that sets a template for the Kolkata Knight Riders before you bring in the finishers. What about strategy number 3, Orko? And this is my question for you. You rightly mentioned about having an overseas wicketkeeper. You have Raymond Gurbaz or Quinton de Kock. Do you want to go with a righty-lefty opening combination, or do you go with two lefties for the likes of de Kock and Narayan opening, or you were saying Gurbaz and Narayan to make sure it's a righty-lefty combination?
Well, I think that Narayan, whatever he offers is a bonus. I mean, you can't treat him as an opener. He's just, that head start player who, of course, if he gets going, he'll certainly give you some 40, 50 runs. Or even if he scores some 5 to 10 runs in a ball or two, I think that's just a bonus. So I will certainly keep Narayan in the opening and see what happens, at least in the first few games. And I'll pair him up with de Kock. I mean, I'm not a strong believer of right-left combos in this IPL, at least because if you look at SRH, Abhishek Sharma, Travis said, such a breathtaking
Oh,
opening pair. They're both
God.
left-handers. And at number 3, they have Ishan Kishan, who's also a
Ishan
left-hander. So
Kishan,
I think that
absolutely.
so I think that there's nothing like you need to definitely have a right-hander. So certainly I would start with Narayan and de Kock. De Kock can play a bit of a stabilizer as well with Narayan going after the bowling. And even if Narayan falls early, you have Rahane who can, take up that anchor role, attack also the way he did previously in the Eden Garden. So I think Rahane at 3, then Venkatesh Iyer follows and the rest of the order goes. So I'll stick to Quinton de Kock and Narayan at least for the first few games, irrespective of their both left-handing abilities.
Absolutely. And QDK and wicket keeping doesn't need any introduction. A wonderful gloveman, to
I
be
just wanted
honest.
to concur on this particular thing. I think having a left-right combination does give the opposition, setting up the field. So I think I will definitely go for Gurbaz and Sunil Narayan as my opening batsman. If somehow Gurbaz fell, I would definitely go for a player like Rahane. Or if Sunil Narayan goes out, we'll have Venki. So I think that
Oh,
left-right
okay. So you
combination,
want to continue with the lefty-righty combination with the
absolutely.
Kolkata Knight Riders. I didn't like this point, but just like Orko said, in T20s, I think there is no time to think about lefty-righty combination. Shayan, on the other hand, gives a counterpart saying, I want a lefty-righty combination. So who will be the wicket-keeper batter for the Kolkata Knight Riders? We have to wait for the playing 11 to discuss about that. What about the players to watch out for? So this is where we have come to a conclusion. Orko has given his 2 players to watch out for. Shayan has given his 2 players to watch out for, while I have gone with my X Factor. So, Shayan, you have gone with Varun Chakravarti and Rinku Singh are your 2 players to watch out for. What could be the reason behind that?
Firstly, I think Varun Chakravarti, we all know that mystery spinner tag he already has. So I think it's very difficult for the batsman to read his actual bowling style. We have seen in the Champions Trophy against New Zealand, the first match in the group stage, nobody was able to read him properly. So I think still that X factor remains for Varun Chakraborty, I think he has played a great final against New Zealand also. And for Rinku Singh, I think we have seen Rinku scoring that massive 30 runs in the last overs. So I think Rinku could be that player who to watch out for, and particularly last season when he didn't get too much opportunity, and that cost his form in the international circuit also. So I think Rinku would definitely love to have the chances to recover his form, which he showed 2 seasons back. So
Absolutely.
I think
Absolutely. Lord Rinku is what we are used to call in 2023 the finisher. And I think he needs to get more game time down the order for the Kolkata Knight Riders. Varun Chakravarti doesn't have introduction. Surprise, surprise. Orko, you have given your two players, and those two are also Indians. I wonder what both of you were thinking while you were giving your predictions, because there is no Andre Russell, no Sunil Narayan. What's happening, guys? Ramandeep Singh and Arshid Rana are your two players to watch out for. May I have a reason behind that, please?
Well, I think KKR slowly have understood that they need to think of a team beyond Russell and Narayan as well. So I think we are looking at people like Powell, he could be the next Russell. We have a bunch of Indian players who could create a similar impact like Rinku, Ramandeep. And also in the bowling department, we have Varun, who is, similar to Narayan in terms of his bowling. So KKR have realized that KKR is not just about Narayan and Russell, and it's about the Indian core that we should proudly boast of. And that's why we both have mentioned a bunch of Indian players. Coming to the players that I chose, Ramandeep obviously reduces the reliance on Russell, because there was a time when people used to think that we keep our best bowler for Russell, we knock out Russell and KK has done. But now we have
Correct.
that batting depth. We know that Ramandeep can do what Russell can, if not better. And of course, he adds a bit of bowling and excellent fielding as well. So
Fielding.
Ramandeep
Oh
is a
my
key
God.
player. And it's a steal that we retained him for just 4 crore. And the same with Harshit Rana. He's also someone who can bat a bit. He has a century in domestic cricket, and now he's an international cricketer of all three formats. So certainly a wonderful
You can
Indian core
add
that
and
we have
also
developed.
say he's an international ICC champion now.
Absolutely. It's a matter of fact that, and also pride, you would say that at such a young age, in the limited opportunities he has got, he's already gotten an ICC trophy under his belt, and of course, good days to come.
Absolutely. Good days to come. What about my prediction? I've gone with an X factor of Ankush Raghuvanshi. I think this kid is ready to make a statement in the IPL and also in the domestic, maybe in international colors in the near future. Ankush Raghuvanshi, I think, can be the make and break player at number 3, number 4 spot. If you need a floater for Kolkata Knight Riders, an impact player, give Ankush Raghuvanshi. I'll give you 15 balls, give me a 35 odd runs. And I think Ankush Raghuvanshi, with his different shot skills, I think Shayan shared about the Delhi Capitals game. The couple of reverse scoops that he were playing over
absolutely.
shot that man, those shots were just incredible for the man of his age, and that's the reason why I think Rankish Raghuvanshi will be my X factor for the Kolkata Knight Riders. 4 players to watch out for, plus 1 X factor. Over reliance on Sunil Narayan and Andre Russell is rightly mentioned about Shayan. No names of Sunil Narayan and Andre Russell in the players to watch out for. What about the predicted playing 11? This is what I've gone with. What about the As you rightly mentioned about the predicted playing 11, unfortunately, no Henrik Nokia into my side. I'm going with Vaibhav Varura, Harshid Rana, and Spencer Johnson, along with Andre Russell Orko, with your two spinners of Narayan and Varun Chakravarti. I think this looks a very balanced side. Any other changes according to you?
Well, no changes. I think even if you look at reputation, people might prefer Nokia to start with. But if you look at Spencer, he gives that left armor element that we lack. And because we missed Stark, we couldn't buy him back in the auction. I think Spencer adds a very exact spice as Stark does. And with Harshad obviously being the leader of the pack, and Weber also a very potent bowler, you can't call him a rookie anymore. He's pretty experienced. I think this is a wonderful pace attack we have. And of course, Umran is a bit raw. As I said previously, I would have preferred Shardul over him, to have a bit of experience. But on his day, with the kind of grooming he would get under Bharat Arun, under Payne Bravo, who also loves him incredibly, he could also be, that impact player if needed as an extra pacer in the team. Maybe Markande could be a good leg spin option
Yeah,
if it's a
absolutely.
turning track. So certainly we do have a bunch of players who can, change the game, and pretty much sorted with the bowling attack and a lot of all round options like Ramandeep Russell as well, and Venkatesh Iyer,
Absolutely.
of course.
And when we talk about the IPL auction, I think KKR had an average IPL auction. When we talk about the team squad, I must tell you, they have all the bases covered, is what it looks like. Shan, anything different from your end from what Orko said?
Well, I just wanted to add Gurbaz in the top order batsman. I would just test Gurbaz for the couple of matches. If it don't perform, I would go for Quinton de Kock. But as I mentioned to you, I think a left-right combination up top, because we have seen last year against the teams where Phil Salt and Sunil Narai was blazing guns. So I think having Gurbaz in the top order would definitely give an extra edge. And as Orko mentioned, I think Markande could be a good player in the spinning track. So I think him over Spencer Johnson in the tricky tracks could be really helpful.
Absolutely. Maybe a Spencer Johnson. Maybe if you go for an Indian one, Weber Varura could be an option. You can replace
Absolutely.
him instead of like Lucknow, Chennai. That's a very good point mentioned. Predicted playing 11 is done and that is. What about the predictions time now? It's time for the predictions. Season predictions is on the line. Orange cap holder, purple cap holder, top four. This is where IPL becomes so intense. Shayan, over to you. Who do you think will be the orange cap holder, the purple cap holder, and the top four teams to make it to the playoffs?
For orange cap, I will go for Shubman Gill. For the purple cap, I think Chahal of Punjab. And my top four prediction would be Mumbai Indians, Chennai Super Kings, Punjab, and Kolkata Knight Riders for sure.
Oh, he does not rule out the defending champion. He does not rule out his team. Kolkata Knight Riders is there. He's going for
I
Mumbai.
want KKR. I want KKR to play in Eden Gardens final. That would be a
Oh,
dream
you
come
want
true.
KKR to play the Eden Gardens final? I'm sure you're going there definitely if that is true. But you're going
Absolutely.
with your four predictions: KKR, CSK, MI, PBKs. No big names. A lot of big names are there. The other six teams, some of them are very good, but he's missed out on that. He says these four are his predictions. I'll go over to you. Who are your orange cap, purple cap, and four predictions?
Well, Orange, I would perhaps hope Yashasvi Jaiswal because he has a point to prove that
Another
he's a
talent.
gun T20 player. So I think Yashasvi as an Orange Cap winner, given the form of Varun, I think he has a proper chance to finish as a Purple Cap
Definitely.
winner. Yeah, so certainly as a KKR fan, I'll have that bias. So certainly Varun with the Purple Cap. In the playoffs, I think I would hope rather KKR makes into the top four. So KKR would be in the list. Mumbai Indians, the kind of Indian core they have, the bowling attack with Bolt, Bumrah, Deepak Chahar, Santner that they've amassed. So Mumbai Indians certainly. SRH again, as we previously talked, the top
Oh
seven,
yes.
which can win them games even if the bowling doesn't work. So SRH would be my third team. And looking at our ex-leader being the current leader of that team, Punjab Kings, I would perhaps put them in the playoffs as well. They have a very good squad, and also the depth that they have. Their players like Omar Zai, Janssen, Stoinis, Maxwell, and some very exciting talents like Chahal, Arshdeep, and of course the leader Shreyas Iyer. So I think Punjab under Ricky Ponting and Shreyas also have a very high chance to make it to the playoffs. So KKR, Mumbai, Punjab, and SRH for me.
As you rightly mentioned, KKR, Mumbai, Punjab have been the common three teams picked by both of you. Orko says SRH, while Shayon said he's going for the Chennai Super Kings, while the other six teams, both of them did not even think of mentioning. That is very interesting. Predictions have been made. Can Kolkata Knight Riders retain the IPL trophy? Can Shion's wish will be fulfilled? Will KKR play an IPL final at the iconic Eden Gardens? Thank you so much, both of you. The defending champion squad preview done and dusted. Kolkata Knight Riders done. We'll come forward with the other teams of the IPL as well. Sit back and enjoy. Don't forget to subscribe to Fifth Umpire. Press the bell icon as well. Thank you so much, and bye-bye.